resilience has definitely become a bit of a buzzword in our space, especially over the last couple of years. Every guru on TikTok seems to be about resilience and mindset and all the rest. Now, real resilience is simply just how quickly you bounce back from something. That's all. That is its most simple form, okay? The most common myth that is still around today that I deal with fairly regularly is break someone down to build them back up. This is an old military thing that got carried over into sport, mainly from all the boys who went staunch. It's just dumb. So it turns out that it's actually the complete opposite that makes people resilient, like having a really good support network. If you don't look after a plant, if you don't water a plant and give it sunshine, it dies. If you water it, you care for it, and you give it sun, it's a strong, healthy plant, right? We are not too dissimilar as people. Now, I also like to refer to resilience as, who's played Jenga? Good. I always wait for like the one person that's like, no. Resilience is a little bit like Jenga. The more that you pull the blocks out of the tower, the shakier it gets. Okay? This is why that break them down, build them back up thing doesn't work. Because once the tower's broken, you don't build it back up. That's it. It's done. So if you're pulling blocks out of your tower, you want to be putting them back in somehow. Now, how do you do that, Nick? I'll tell you what. I'll draw you one of my favourite things. This is what I mean about going off piece. See, something pops into my head and I just have to run with it. This is a very badly drawn bucket, but you get the point. Imagine something stressful happens. You pour a cup of water into this bucket. The more cups of water that you pour into this bucket, the fuller it gets until what? Well done, gold stars. Who's heard of burnout? That's what that is. So, we install a tap to this bucket, and every now and then, when you sense that it's getting near the top, you turn the tap on. Let some water out so that you can avoid this, because this sucks. How do you turn the tap on? What is a tap turning activity? Something fun. That is the most important thing here. It doesn't matter what you do. Actually, it does a little bit. Don't go crazy and do stupid stuff. But it's got to be fun, okay? Whatever that is for you. Video games, catching up with people, going for walks, hikes, whatever you want to do. Surfing, I don't care. If you find it fun and it's good for you, okay? Then, then do that, okay? You will avoid a whole lot of stress and worry if you can bring in more fun. Any questions on fun and how to turn a tap on? Good. Figured you'd all be all right with that. One of my favourite slides. Mr. Happy Brain. Now, this is what the research says. So this is straight out of something called neuropsychotherapy, which is one of my favourite things ever, which is basically what happens to your brain when you go and see a therapist. Resilience, it turns out, you need these things. Attachment. When I'm talking about attachment, for those in the room that know what it is, that's fine. For those who don't, attachment is how secure do you feel with someone? Do you have someone that you feel secure and safe with? Ideally, you have a few people that you feel that way with, that you can just be yourself and trust that it's going to be consistent, it's predictable. The thing with attachment is if things are unpredictable, you are going to be edgy. There's going to be no trust, so you're not going to feel safe. That ties into all sorts of other stuff that is probably a whole nother hour lecture with me. Control, everyone wants to feel like they're in control. We're humans, it's very normal. The problem with control is that it's very hard to actually have. It's all about perceived control. So the strategies, the influences on various different things like our breath control and the awareness, that will help you feel like you're more in control of things. Okay, this is all good stuff. The environment that you're in, you need to feel like you have some sort of control over as well. We'll talk about that later. Self-esteem enhancement. So this is not bashing each other or putting each other down or bullying each other and things like that. All right? You want to be boosting everyone up. Now, for anyone in the room that's been feeling fairly ordinary lately, the weather has not been great, although today was nice. One of the ways that you can boost your mood, do something nice for someone else. Give them a G up. Give them a compliment. Just smile, right? Change everything. Maximising pleasure, that is essentially this. All right, but it's just another way of describing it. So we want to avoid pain and maximize pleasure. Okay, that's what humans do. And then obviously, avoiding distress. So, if you think about the military context of how they built resilience in people, there was unpredictability, they had no control, they were berated constantly with no sleep, put through immense amounts of pain, and highly distressed for a long period of time. No wonder they broke. They didn't put them back together and build them up as this strong thing. They were just... Has anyone seen the Pavlov dog experiment? That's what it was. It was learned helplessness. They weren't resilient. They were just shells of what they used to be. So that's why we do the opposite. One thing I'll say on self-esteem, which is really cool for everyone in the room. If you have low self-esteem, this is probably more for coaches in the room. If you have an athlete with low self-esteem, or a parent, someone with low self-esteem needs 3 times the amount of encouragement. That's what the research says in sport. 3 times the amount of encouragement, positive reinforcement. If you're someone in the room who feels like you have low self-esteem, that is fine. You can tell your coach or your parent, "Oi, that bloke said I need 3 times more encouragement." Dial it up. And hopefully they will. How good are my slides? Such cheesy pictures. So, a healthy/safe, it's called an enriched environment. So it is actually high pressure, so it is competitive, but it's supportive. That fosters resilient and approach behaviour, okay? This is what we want. If you're in a stressful or a traumatic environment with high pressure, low support, you're going to avoid. You're going to be anxious and people start to play up.